in this insulation pouch. Pull it straight off. And then first thing you do, open this up. I'm gonna take your screwdriver underneath there. And you turn this guy off. And this will also, if you have any like big leaks going on out in your sprinkler system, like you have a main line leak, you don't have to turn your meter off to kill the water of your sprinkler. So it's got two arrows on here. One way is open, one way closed. When the handle's with the pipe, it's open. I'm gonna turn it this way. This arrow's pointing that way, and that right there turns the water off. The next thing you do, take off these little caps are just to keep bugs and stuff. They don't hold water pressure. Take off all these little caps and take your flathead screwdriver. I'm gonna do this one first. It's gonna shoot water out, so watch out. Open that. See these little valves right here? When they're perpendicular with the valve sticking up, they're off. And turn them on, that opens them. Turn the slot. Oh, sorry. I always forget that one has pressure.
Yeah, that was
That's all right.
just a little practical joke there.
So that's draining all the water out of the main line.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably pulling it down.
Not your house water, just your sprinkler water. And all that pressure relieves, it'll start draining out this bottom and then out of these. A lot of these systems have a master valve right after the backflow, so there's not water pressurized out through the yard. That master valve turns on simultaneously with one of the station valves, like zone 1, zone 2, and it lets water out to the yard. But this system doesn't have a master valve, so it's getting more water draining. That's it, and put your pouch back on.
Do we have to flip the levers on here?
Okay, so I would leave these open through the winter when you're not using it, and leave these open.
Okay.
Like they are now?
Yeah, you shouldn't ever have to mess with these since you have that down in the ground.
All right.
What happens when you when these get turned off, there's stainless steel inside there. It's the little ball thing, and it can trap water, and then it can actually crack it at these if there's water trapped in there. So I just leave them on and turn the water off down there. Leave these open. You can put your caps back on.
Yeah, might as well. Oh, well, we'll get to it back.
Yeah, well, I don't need to take these off anymore. Okay, now that side. I think this side drained out when I.
Yeah, when you get that first one.
Now that side's draining out.
Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, there's no way of remembering that.
And we don't have to close those bottom valves, right?
Which bottom valve?
On the very.
These?
Yeah.
No, they're it's got a little ball bearing in there.
Okay.
And so when it has water pressure, that ball bearing pushes forward and seals and makes a seal and holds the pressure. And when it releases pressure, that ball bearing relaxes and lets the water drain out. It's the auto drains. All right, so she's drained, and that would be pretty much ready for winter. And you don't have to do it once. There's some people that use their system if we have a real dry, kind of warm winter, and then we have just a couple real cold spells. They'll turn it back on, use it for a while, then we'll drain it a couple times a year, just depending on the weather,
Okay, so to turn it back on for summer, you just
So you do exactly the opposite of what I just did.
close those little
first thing you
brass
do
things.
is close these, and these will spin. I'll show you on this one. These will spin in a complete circle. It doesn't tighten or loosen. So you got to make sure you got them
Just across it.
across, and it's kind of, see how they're kind of at an angle.
Uh-huh.
So it's a perpendicular with this, not straight up and down. And you'll see if you get any water kind of squirting out the sides of these, You might have one of these cracked just a little bit. Get your screwdriver, and you can kind of feel when it's kind of a resistance there when it gets to where it's supposed to be off. Right. Yeah, so you just
and
shut
then that
those,
comes back on down there.
Then try to, it's kind of hard with these, but try to turn it on slow. Just that way you just don't get like a big gush of water just shooting real fast through.
Okay.
Put your lid back on. And this lid goes on, where it says lift here, faces this way. You can kind of tell because there's a hole that matches up with this. It's made where you can actually like put a bolt in there and lock it. I've never actually used one. Just take your pouch, slide and wiggle it back on there. And the way it looks like this rock fits best with that box where it's at is with the nose pointing that way. It gets all the stakes off the box.
Okay.
I think if it was the other way, the stake on this side would be on the box.